get the time right, so I don't have to jump up. Oh,
okay. I didn't get to freshen up, so I hope I don't look too much of a fright on
you look great. No, I look great.
Okay.
Now, this is the Method Actor Speaks Part 2. We're talking with a talent manager, and I want you to tell the name and your name.
Tyler Browne, and I'm with KINDRED Talent Management.
Now, in Part 1, we were talking a lot about this and that, and you got into that. Your talent, you take on people that you want to know, you want to hang out with.
Correct.
In the old days, let's go have a beer, let's do whatever.
Yes.
But
I'm very close with my clients, and the reason being is, one, I genuinely like people. As a performer, you know, I'm in the wrong place if I don't, but because I think that the more intimate that I know my actors, the better I can pitch them, the better I can find roles for them, the better I can really see. When I look at the board, I'm not just looking at like, who do I have to fit this role, and then look back on a list of people to see blue eyes, brown eyes, whatever, but I actually see my actors doing the role. So whether it's Kevin or Mark or
you can name them.
You know, Trevor or Danielle, you know, all these different people that I have, I want to look at the role and I want them to pop right up without me having to think about it or run a sheet that tells me what, you know, what their demographic is. By getting to know them, it's easier and more palpable for me to represent them. And plus, if you've got an apples to apples comparison in a situation where now it's down to two people, they almost look the same, their acting styles almost the same, which one would you rather work with? So that's going to be hopefully my actor.
Right.
Because it sometimes does come down to that. But I just want people to know that when they get a KINDRED client, whoever walks in the room, whether that's the person for the job or not, you are going to get somebody who radiates, who is pleasant, who is sound, and very humble, and you're going to get that joy for however long you audition them, whether you need to use them or can use them or not.
So you're the one of the tough guys, I mean.
I can be, because of I'm such a warm and fuzzy guy. I tend to be very strict on, you know, them calling me back and making sure they make their auditions. It's like you owe it to me for being, you know, so warm and fuzzy. But I do work with other agents that do have different utilities in that manner. But I would like to think that I'm really your best friend as far as a professional, because there are a lot of people in the industry that they might get advice from or that they work with, and they're not going to have their best interests completely unbiased, because they're probably, especially other actors, they're probably hearing something from their manager. They're not competing with them per se, but they're not truly looking out for them and their needs.
Right.
So, you know, I want them to know that they have my full support on as many levels as possible.
Why did you stop acting?
Well, I had, like I said, I had those two children that tried to tell me that this is something they wanted to do too. So, I just ended up helping them, and I enjoyed working on this side of the table so much that I decided to get a guinea pig adult, which was my husband, who was also a musician at the time. Most of my life I've been a musician. The first half was mostly acting and dancing. But I said, you know what, I think you're really talented, and I think you could do this. And I started submitting him for roles, and he filled up his year with a lot of short films. One of them is that's still coming back. It's a Holly Shorts, a film called Alchemy. That's won a lot of the WMIFF festival. He just came out with Stranglehold, which is directed by Joshua Galosh, who did the special effects photography for Skyfall and Blended. The first year was like a whirlwind of commercials and films, and I said, you know what, I think I can do this. Let's see who else we can get. So next thing you know, I went to the dark side and made it a career, and you know what, it's very fulfilling, and every once in a while I'll end up being like the Alfred Hitchcock in something somehow, or somebody will like, I need you to come over here and do this, and I'm like, me, it must be still showing, because they see something that you know, that was there or still is there, but I don't pursue acting actively.
So you are on the set a lot of times with your clients?
A lot of times I do find myself maybe participating in a project on occasion.
The independent, I thought maybe Do you go on location with your clients?
If they need me to, I'm there for them, and I want them to know that in any capacity I'm there for them, and I don't want them to feel that, you know, I do set hours,
right,
but I don't want them to feel that they can't have access to whatever it is that they need from me for certain things, because I want them to know that they have my full support, and in whatever capacity that I can accommodate them. So it really frees up a lot of the trepidation on what they can communicate with me about, because I want them to talk to me about everything. I always tell my clients, if you're a football player, okay, and you're a football fan, excuse me, and you're a San Diego Chargers fan, and I'm a San Diego Chargers fan, you're going to know it. But if you're a Chargers fan and I'm a Raiders fan, we're just going to have a great conversation about football. So there's no barriers. They won't know my particular differences. They're going to be able to feel completely comfortable, and I'm going to be able to advise them in the best way possible, because I can find a common ground.
So it's an easier way of saying let's not argue. We're not going to argue.
Oh, I don't like to argue, but but
is that what you mean by that?
I want them to feel comfortable with whatever their belief system is. That I have a lot of times, if they have issues with humility or their religion or their politics, and something comes up of a sensitive nature, then I want to be able to hear them from their perspective and find out what it is about them that is making them uncomfortable, and can we work this out? Can we get around it? But if it's something that they genuinely cannot support in their heart, and it would make them feel like a terrible person, then it's non-negotiable.
Makes sense to me.
Well, you know what? They're people first and actors second to me. So I appreciate that. And again, I only like to represent how I would want to be represented. So it's natural for me to do that and give them that consideration. But to pick and choose roles, you know, without, you know, provocation, that's not tolerated. I just want to be able to let them know that if there's something that's really going to compromise their soul, that even if it's not something that I'm sensitive to, that they have that luxury of discussing it with me.
So you're saying if they go on to play a part that they really detest?
Well, not that they hate me. We all do jobs that we don't like.
Right,
it's not about that. It's about something that might compromise them on a level that is not just, oh, this really is yucky, I don't like to do it, or, oh, this is really hard, or this is not the most fun I've ever had. But something of a nature that really compromises them as an individual, as a human being, not as an actor. Though there'll be roles that maybe that would be considered too, because we don't want anybody, but nobody's been ruined completely by, you know, oh, well, that was not a very well written, you know, part. I don't think anybody's career's been ruined because of it.
That's true. But to the other part, there's a great actress, Charlene Jones. These actors are complaining about all these things. Mm-hmm. And she just said, you know, you don't have to be an actor.
That's true. That's true.
I love that line, and for the last 30 years I've been using it. And
it's also nobody's fault that you decided to become an actor. So don't take it out on anybody on the set or anybody that's certainly in your corner. Again, this is the kind of thing that you're talking about, John, is the same philosophy that I have. And I need to know that my clients are philosophically on the same page with me. If you have the attitude to where that you were talking about, then that is a match for the type of client that I represent.
Yeah, well, that's good. And I noticed you said you have about 40 clients. Mm-hmm. A lot of your clients are like under 30.
I have a range. My youngest is 19, and my oldest is 71. Oh. So, and again, I'm not looking for a particular type. As they say, well, what kind of type are you looking for, or how many types do you have like me?
What about established people? I have a friend, Francine York. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're familiar with her work. You would if you see.
I'm sure.
Look around.
Sometimes I don't place the face with
Right.
the name and vice versa. I do that with my high school reunions too.
I mean, till this day, she's gorgeous.
Uh-huh.
I mean, and she's no kid. I mean, she was a big, gorgeous brunette in the '60s.
Okay.
She did all the Bewitches and Batman,
Okay.
and you know that. And now she's a blonde, it was Sharon. I mean, that's another one, Sharon Farrell. She did the movie with Steve McQueen. She went out with him. Actually, she was on my show. She talked about Che Guevara was the first guy to make love to her.
Wow, that was dangerous.
Yeah, well, yeah, they were shooting it in Cuba.
Oh, wow.
I have over 100 shows
Well,
on
some
that.
people are into that sort of thing.
Well, this was back in the 50s and
Yeah.
60s.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of them. I mean, there's so much talent out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm talking about over 50.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. Especially that come from out of New York. And
Yeah,
I've seen-
bring them on. I'll,
No,
you know.
I mean, I would like to use Facebook here, but there's so much talent out there that really, well, the Actor Studio was started by the group theater because they wanted to do that, do the work. That's why it's called the work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not called having fun.
Mm-hmm.
You have fun.
It is.
It is fun, but it's called the work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what it is. You have to do the
Mhm.
work.
Yeah.
And we do all that work, you know what it's for, and then we forget it. It's only there, all the technique and everything you ever learn is to be forgotten. Let it go and just do what you do. I always tell actors, if you want to know what acting is all about, just go to and watch little kids play and tell me that's not real.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe it, I'll believe it. And things I'm telling you now when I teach and this and that, I always tell my students, and I'm not a teacher, it's a coach, because you can't teach acting.
Mm-hmm. Correct. I agree. I agree with that.
And you can guide somebody, my first acting coach, Renata Manhart, great actress from Germany, and she told me that, she's still low class, she says, John is the greatest natural actor I ever saw. Without training, he'll still need 35 cents to get on the bus. In other words, without training, you're not going to go anywhere. You could be the greatest talent in the world. I mean, you will get somewhere.
Right, and I believe it's like, you go to the gym, say you want to lose a few pounds, you want to get your body in shape, you don't stop going once you've gotten to that point of where, okay, this is where I want to be at. You have to maintain it.
Maintain it. And like any other profession, you in the music business, I had Earth, Wind, and Fire on a few weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Come on. But every profession but acting practices. Like I was telling you about in the first chapter of this book, A Challenge to the Actor. Now,
music and sports, you mean? They practice.
They practice. Well,
yeah,
they practice. Actors don't. They buy this book and it goes on the shelf, and it's a waste. There's so much you could learn. When I was teaching, every session that we had, we did a half hour of reading from the book, because I knew actors would buy it, and they said, "Oh, look what I got," and then it goes on the shelf. So people, "Oh, you got the book," and if you ask them what's in it, they couldn't tell you. You know what I'm saying? There's such great exercises in here. And this is when you were talking before about how when they're in a supermarket and this and that, that's great. It's great to do that.
Right, because you have to be an actor every single day. Like you said, you've got to practice. So, okay, I don't have a class today. I don't have an audition today. What do I do? And I always tell them, I hate to take away from your TV time, because for me, that's like gold, right? But if you're identifying with an actor, he doesn't look like you, he doesn't speak like you, but there's something about him that you can identify. Think about that and why that is, and what are the qualities, and how can you take in those same qualities and correct. You can use those same qualities in your own acting ability. So there's, again, even if you're not working and doing the training, actual training, you can be thinking about, because in training, like when you become an accomplished something or other, it's a two-part thing. You do the hands-on work, and you do the reading and the studying. So yeah, with whether you have it in a book or whether you're doing it visually, observing somebody else's play or something on television, you know, the academic aspects of acting is always there for you, even when the physical training is not.
And you know what else is missing? I just thought of it. I just did a real small film for a friend of mine, Joyce Lynn, and she asked me to do it. And on set, what I noticed, that the other actors, especially this one actress, kept butting in while the director was talking and taking over. One thing that I've learned and watching some is respect of this is gone. You know what I mean?
Gotta have respect. You have to have respect. Again, when I look at my actors, how are they relating to me? I'm the first, you know, I'm the first sounding board. Exactly right. Are you treating me with respect? Do you care about what I think? As my dad used to always say, do they have a need of approval, not just for themselves, but of what others think? How is that going to translate in, you know, an audition room? So, you know, again, if you're turning me off right away, how can I know that you're not going to turn everybody else off in the same way? Not everybody is going to be, you know, in love with all of my actors, but they're certainly not going to be subversive, you know. And that's again something that, you know, I look for. Okay, they didn't offend me, you know, I'm not crazy for them, but I think they have a lot of potential. And they're very palatable, and they have a lot of skills. Let's get to know them. Well, if I'm thinking that, I mean, sometimes it's love at first sight, sometimes it's not. But again, there's a difference between the immediate turnoff and everything else in between.
That's a big turnoff when you see people who don't respect them.
No. And that is the first thing, because it's, you know, I mean, there's a lot of more established managers out there, but it's a privilege to get a meeting with representation, because that person is saying, I'm investing in you.
And you, yes. I mean, you're totally right. That's one of the reasons why I want you on, because I want the audience to know that you really, you're not entitled to it. It's a gift.
It is.
It really is.
It was for me, and again, I'm speaking from someone who is on the other side of the wall my entire life. So I'm still grateful. And when I talk to somebody, I don't care if they're in payroll. In fact, I just got off the phone with someone. I'm grateful because my client has a situation in which I'm able to talk to payroll. So whoever's doing the number crunching that I have to talk to is not less important to me, because they're an integral part of my actor's career just as much as a casting director, because I'm grateful that my actor even has to be put in this position. And it's not my fault or their fault or the actor's fault what their job is, but I'm going to give them the same amount of respect and gratefulness, because, again, I'm happy that my actor's even in this situation.
You know, before I forget, earlier, I don't know if it was this show, the number one, when you're talking about, I think it was number one, you know, the end of 5 roles. I did the Black Dahlia for Brian De Palma. We shot it over in Bulgaria, even though it takes place here in LA. But I had one of those roles. And as a matter of fact, Brian just said, here's what I want you to do, just do it. And he let me do it about 10 times. And very few times. And you very rarely, you see me in the beginning and the second part of the film, but I've gotten such great responses, especially at Active Studio, coming from with Tom Bauer, came running up to me and said, "Wow, what work you did!" And I played a pen, but you see me for a couple of seconds, you know, maybe a minute or whatever.
But you honored that.
Yeah, I mean, I kept thinking of that when you were talking, what are these actors doing out there? I mean, it's so true, there are no small roles.
You'd be surprised, though, how much, I always look at, you know, one of my pet peeves, or for some reason, no offense to any cheapskates out there, but cheapskate just doesn't mean how tight you are with your money. It permeates your entire personality. Same with gratefulness. If you're grateful, it's like a magic flower that just keeps growing and reaching out to everything and everybody in your life. And it just keeps planting more seeds of gratuity in other gardens. So one of the things that I really, really look for in my actors is how grateful are they to be doing, like I said, one of the greatest jobs in the world, to be somebody's time out, to be somebody's entertainment.
Yeah, true.
So that's not just for me, but it's for others, and what that can present to other people in situations that they're a part of.
Well, before we run out of time, how can people get in touch with you?
You can go to my website at www.kindredtalentmanagement.com.
You don't have to do the W's anymore. You know, they've done away
They
with
figured it out. Well, I didn't say the http://// so then again I just did, but there you go.
And it's also on Facebook.
We're also on, we have a Facebook page. We're on Twitter and Instagram as well.
Well, I'm not on, I don't know what, I have a cell phone, I've got to get one.
And we love to brag about our clients and all the exciting things that we do on Twitter. So definitely come in and check out our Facebook page and our Twitter page and see all the wonderful things that we're encouraging about our clients and how grateful we are as a management company in order to represent them.
Well, I encourage you out there to come on and check it out, because I'm an instinct player. You know, I did 16 years in prison and all that.
Not on film, right?
No, not on film.
No, I was going to say that would have been a really long movie.
And it was.
16 millimeter, not right? No, you said 16 years. Okay.
And it's kept me alive in the sense of being an instinct player. I go by my instincts, and I can tell you care, and I'm really grateful.
It's my Achilles heel.
Well, it's not really. It's a gift, and there's very few in the business. That's who they were on. I forgot. I apologize. I forgot her name. She was on my show. She's one of your clients.
Oh, really?
She told you about me. To come on my.
KINDRED. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. She's actually. I'm actually doing the casting, helping assist with casting for Book of Choices.
Book of Choices.
Yeah, it has several of my clients in the film, though.
Book of Choices.
Yeah, Trevor Scott's the lead. Jamie Von Ritter, Kevin Callahan, Joe Walland.
I forget. Don't give me names.
they're all in the film.
I'm too many bats to the head.
And Allison Daniel. Can't forget Allison.
I thought it was the neighborhood I come from, because I'm an Italian from. There's a movie called Someone Else. Those are the real cops that arrested me. It was about organized crime in the Bronx, and them were the guys that arrested me. But I always thought it was because you don't know nobody. I was brought up. Then I heard Lee Grant talk about it. She has trouble remembering names.
Oh, it's a terrible affliction. I see so many names, things and faces that I kind of get shuffled in there. But.
It really is. Did we run out? No, we still got a couple minutes in. And I really enjoyed it. So I would rate, if you want any of your clients, they're always welcome. I always welcome people, because this is as I said, the casting directors love this. They told me.
Oh, good.
No, at that SAG meeting, and I put it up on Vimeo too. That's what most casting directors, I understand, use now. Is it Vimeo, whatever you spell it?
Oh, Vimeo?
Vimeo.
Okay.
I had to pay for it because the show's more than 2 minutes. But it goes right up to YouTube and Facebook. It'll probably be up tonight. I try to get it up the same day. Yesterday I came home, my phones, I had that Magic Jack and it wasn't working. The plug went out. Then I had to wait till the morning to call them. That's what this show is about. We're talking about Magic Jack now. It didn't work, but now it's working.
I don't know him.
It's a great.
So I know several with that nickname.
Comes up on my computer. That's how I got my nickname, John, by Fat Kama in 1968. Anyway, my lovely, this is great, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
No, what a gift. This is a gift, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to, no, really, I don't say anything out of